Previously on the podcast with Jacob and Tyler. They were just sitting around talking about stuff. They were getting to know each other. And that's it. No, we weren't even getting to know each other. Hi.
Hey.
I'm Tyler.
I'm also Tyler.
And we're both Tyler. And you're listening to On the Podcast, episode 6.
The other podcast, we're on the podcast.
And welcome back, and before I forget, I gotta get these shoutouts out of the way, because sometimes we forget until a little bit later, and then it's just awkward and weird. So, that theme song, that bitchin' tune, was made by none other than my friend Gabe Vinyls. You can visit his Facebook page at facebook.com/thedungeonstudio, or go see his SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/Gabriel-Vinyls. That's VINYLZ. Or follow him on Twitter, which is probably what you should do because Twitter rules the world, at Dungeon Studio NY. NY for New York, because he's a downtown New York boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's sad. I don't know him. I don't know if I've actually messaged him on Facebook.
Is he on your Facebook?
Oh, yeah, I have him added. I was checking out his crap.
My friends just add you. Did he add you?
I think so.
Like Zach add you that one time? My friends just add you.
I check out your friends' lives. I know as much about your friends' lives as you do.
Yeah, clearly.
I sit and stalk them.
I guess we should probably point out that at the beginning of this video, no, there's not two Tylers.
I also coughed. I didn't mean to do that. I was holding that one in. That was really hard. And when you... I assumed you wanted me to talk, so I'm like, oh, I might as well let the cough out now.
That's cool.
So I'm not a coughing fit during the theme. That was hard to say.
So yeah, you're listening to On the Podcast, episode 6. The weekly crappiest podcast on the internet that gets a whopping 10 views at its best, but usually about 4.
I got all excited and went to scream, the only podcast you're on the podcast, now roll the theme!
Well, maybe next time. Although you shouldn't have ruined it. Now everyone's gonna know what's coming, and we're gonna be predictable. But that's cool. We'll be like the WWE. Oh snap! So,
well, we're more like TNA with like 10 people watching. Oh,
man, we're coming down on WWE and wrestling in general. Like, hey, did you hear that WCW organization? They went under. Like, over 10 years ago.
Oh!
ECW? Oh! Same thing!
Oh! Didn't Shakara too?
Well, Shakara's like the coolest thing ever. Because, like, their last pay-per-view they had, they, during the final match, security actually came in and started ripping apart their set. Which I think would annoy purist wrestling fans who are like, we gotta see the ending. But wrestling is just as much about the storyline, especially these days.
Shakara is more storyline oriented?
Well, no, it has great wrestling. It's kind of fun for the family wrestling, but not in a bullshit way. It's entertaining, and there's characters with real gimmicks and whatnot. Mm-hmm. I actually really like Shakara.
Wasn't that the one to the colony?
Yeah, but I think the colony, the multiple colonies, I think like a lot of indies, they wrestle elsewhere. As far as I know, but I could be wrong there. Because I think I've seen them elsewhere. But I remember like one of the final shots of Sakara being like the owner sitting up there watching his set get destroyed while he eats an apple. But this is like, I mean, obviously it's fake. And I haven't really been keeping up, but I think they're doing something else to come back. I don't know what their plans are, but that's like one of the cooler wrestling storylines. It kind of sucks to be a fan because you're like, no more Shakara for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But in one sense, it's like, that's a pretty cool story. Shikara just went under. But, I mean, you can only really get away with that in the indies. Like, imagine if WWE's like, yo, check this storyline out. WWE went under. And then, like, the channel and whatnot that they're on are like, what are you doing? And the people who bought the WWE network are like, so there's no pay-per-views now?
It'd be kind of cool for just like a month. They just shut everything down and just act as if they did go under. Stopped updating everything.
It would be a little harder to believe,
like the
though,
Shield
considering
tear everything up.
They have a ton of money, but
it's like just have like the last scene of like the Shield and like the Y just taking out everyone in the back, like ripping everything up, like hitting Vince McMahon, throwing Stephanie McMahon over, picking up Triple H and throwing him through a window out into the street.
I'd be satisfied.
John Cena falling.
John Cena falling
into Roman Reigns' arms.
That's a loving,
as explosions go around them.
A loving embrace. Yeah, so...
And then one of the explosions hits Randy Orton in the face. And he dies.
If you want Randy Orton to die?
Nah.
That's intense.
He'll come back.
Oh, he'll come back because wrestling isn't...
No, his ghost will come back and he'll take over someone else's body.
Sheamus?
Yeah.
Maybe then Sheamus will actually be okay. Actually, no, that's not even true.
Sheamus the Viper.
Because Sheamus is alright. I just don't like his character. I think yelling "fella" is just stupid beyond belief.
That's not what all Irish people do.
Well, no, somebody on a forum just said, like, imagine an Australian wrestling going, "Mate!" Because that's essentially what it is. Right? When you think of it that way, it's really...
I guess it would also be like, as if like a Canadian would just scream like, "Hey!"
Yeah. Buddy.
What would an American yell? Fast food.
Probably like, America!
Liberty!
Freedom!
War?
Ooh, that's getting deep. That's the social commentary that cuts deep.
I think it hurt someone's feelings.
We hurt America's feelings as a whole. So what's up? What's new? Tell me speak on your life a little bit.
What's new with me is... Oh. I don't really know what to do with me. Haven't really played any games. I don't really want to mention the one game I beat because it just falls into... But I played games with a friend. I was going to play Earth Defense Force.
What's this friend thing you speak of?
So some kind
Is that something on Facebook?
It's a wild Pokemon.
Oh. But why hasn't it ever appeared for me? Dem feels.
Because it's a secret event. You got to go to EB Games, sit there and wait over.
Do I gotta get like the pre-order code?
Nah, you just have to go to EB Games on like the event day and just order it from them, or they'll give it to you. And I can't really see the actions on.
He just played a game on his imaginary controller. I guess that's what he was doing, or he was just diddling himself. I can't really.
Both.
Well, that's what I do when I'm playing games. What game did you beat?
Halo 4.
Oh man, Halo again?
It's like he's like we should beat a Halo. I'm like, well, I might as well beat the. Well, really, that's the last one to beat. But I'm like, well, might as well beat some random one. I'm like, oh, this is the one story I don't think he knows. So we sat down for like not 2 days fully, but I think we actually kind of sped around it because we didn't stop for any secrets. I think we actually beat it in like 3 or 4 hours, which is supposed to be like a 5-hour game. No, that is not on par with the dude who beat Skyrim in an hour and a half, but I like to think of myself as a pretty good speedrunner.
I don't speedrun. The best I did was like maybe Super Metroid in 2.5 or something.
Who's ever gonna do to beat Super Mario Bros. 2 in like 8 minutes? And there was a dude who beat
Tyler. He used to not me. Or do I speak about myself?
Or me, because I'm also Tyler.
Oh yeah, right. Tyler actually used to sit and play the first Super Mario Brothers at one point in his life, over and over. And I can't remember what his record was, but I used to see him, and it was something. It was really good. Like I couldn't do it, but he put a lot of time into it. I guess it became his thing for a while.
The thing is, it was like a charity event, but the Skyrim one, he used glitches to his advantage because in Skyrim, since you have like a stamina thing. I don't know, it was like pre-update kind of thing where you could hold a torch and constantly be able to run. I don't really know how I didn't watch the full thing, and I don't know how he beat a 200-hour game that quickly, but you must be able to just skip almost all the quests or something, because at the end he fought the dragon, and I think he may have glitched it to be able to fight the dragon or something.
Yeah, he must have done something. I just can't...
Now with Mario,
can't see
literally
that.
didn't stop for any coins. Literally, or I don't. I guess
you run and you know exactly where to jump.
Yeah, he knew exactly where like the key for or the things for the door, like the potion door things were. Yeah. And he would go down. Then we get to like World 4 in like a minute or two. Then got to like World 6 in like another minute, and basically got through really quickly.
Yeah, you just memorize the jumping and whatnot, and that's how you do it.
And that was the same with the dude who beat. I watched a dude beat Super Mario Bros. 1 with only. He finished the game with 500 points. He literally, what he would do is he'd beat. Well, I think he also used Warp Zone, but for the levels he did, he wouldn't collect any coins. He wouldn't hit anything. He would jump over everything, and at the end he'd wait till the timer was at 2 seconds and then finish because it would only give him 100 points. And he finished at the bottom of the pool. So he's like record for lowest amount of points gotten.
Right on.
Yeah, and besides watching gameplay videos that I only did today, but I watched an anime.
Uh-oh. This must be the topic you wanted to talk about.
No, actually it wasn't.
Oh, good.
We can talk about them animes.
Alright, let's talk about them animes.
I can't. I try to remember.
Is that one with the funny name?
Yeah, Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
I don't even know what that is. Like, I'm not like a real well watched or whatever on animes.
It only ran for 27 episodes.
Yeah, but I feel like quite a few only ran for like 20-some episodes.
I think in Japan it got like a few awards being one of the best animes.
Yeah.
It's a hard anime to explain because there's some weird language, like just how they present it. And but then again, it's been out since 2007, so I don't really care about spoilers. It's really your fault if you haven't seen it in this long.
It's quite alright.
The beginning, like 8 to 10 episodes don't really explain the story. Essentially, there's this kid. I can't. To the life of me, I always forget one of the main characters' names. He's yeah, I can't remember his name. Sad. I can right now remember every other character I couldn't remember, but I can't remember like.
Come on, man! You got to get on this. Listen, we don't have.
I almost want to Google it right now, just so I'm not stupid.
We don't have time to Google.
But essentially, there's this kid.
Yes.
And they're like, the human race is stuck in these pits underground because. I don't know. I'll just say they're living in these pits, and they're kind of like rationed, so human population doesn't grow too much. And they essentially just dig for stuff, and he finds this like little drill thing, this little like key. And then his like blood brother friend wants to try to get to the surface because his father was there and his father died there. So I can't remember how, but they find this little like thing called I think it's called a Gurren. Yeah, I think that's what it is. And then they essentially like get up to the surface. It's either that or one of the other beastmen. I can't remember. I think they're called Gurren Laganns, like the mechs. Falls through, and this girl named Yoko comes in. She's a really popular anime character, like the most stereotypical female anime character.
So like, all the nerdy boys probably love her.
Yeah. She comes in.
She's hit their waifu or whatever.
Yeah, waifu.
Waifu. I'm not hip enough to be on that.
She is like a sniper that like. Isn't it like just looks pretty sweet? Except it looks like an exact copy of the Halo sniper, but whatever.
Not everything is Halo.
But she comes in, she's like sniping it. I have this feeling the bullets were like explosive, but then they get in the Gurren, and then they find like Login, which is the other part, because I guess these two mech things, like the two pieces, confuse. It gets really weird. Like they just scream like fuse, but. And then, like, the drill, since it's based around these things called drill, like the drill things, the whole universe is based around spirals, and that's what the drill is. Everything runs by spirals, and these people called the anti-spirals who want to get rid of it since they're too powerful and they control people. But then there's the spiral people, which is everyone else. and yeah, it gets confusing. There's like a part where they like battle throwing galaxies at each other because the mechs are.
Oh, that's no big deal. I do that every day.
The mechs get so big, like the two fuse, and then they find this like huge like capital ship that he goes back into Gurn, like the little robot, takes the drill, fuses with the battleship. The battleship transforms into like a mech. So there's like a guy fused with a guy, then they're fused with a mech, and then they fuse with another giant ship, and then at some point they fuse with a ship the size of the moon, and it turns into like a robot, and they start throwing galaxies at some dude, and the whole point is like their mission is like to save the humans, but also this one dude wanted to pierce the heavens with his giga drill. And it's like
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was just sitting here thinking about when you were talking about the fuse thing.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, that kind of sounds like a porno. Like, do these keep fusing with each other? It's like an orgy. And then as I'm thinking that, you're like, he wants to pierce heaven with his giga drill. And I was still on like the porn wavelength.
I don't really know how to like.
That's what I'm gonna start calling my wang, the giga drill.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pierce you with my giga drill later when you're sleeping.
Oh yeah, now I remember the character's name is Simone, but it's not spelled like that. It's spelled like Simon, so it kind of threw me off.
What, Simon?
Yeah, and then like I don't know. There's a lot of cheesy characters. Like the one dude who dies. Half of the series, like in the first part, is kind of comical. They're still trying to figure out their character development, and then they kill off like the. I would call him the second main, but everyone calls him, like, seems to think he's the main character, but they kill him off, and then suddenly it goes from comical to this really serious show, because they wanted to further his development, but really he just turned into the character that died. And then it goes crazy with, like, people showing up, and I don't know. It just gets weird. Like, it's hard to explain, but it's a good show. It's probably one of my more favorite shows. I'm not much of an anime person, really, but it was interesting.
I like anime. I just, did we talk about anime before? I feel like we have.
We probably talked about, like, fanfics and shipping.
I'm just not sure if I've said this point before. Like, after last week's, I remember I said, like, we gotta stop repeating stuff so much. But, I mean, that's probably my fan with finding animes, and I could be totally wrong. This is just from my own experience. Was that there's a lot of them that sound very cool that are like have those like one episode story arcs, you know, where like every episode has a different, like, I'm just gonna say different crime because cop shows always have this format where it's like this episode we solved this crime, the next episode's an unrelated crime and whatnot.
See,
and the anime that I've like Darker Than Black. Although I think it changed in a later season, I'm not sure. But like Darker Than Black sounded really cool and sounded like an anime that I would love. And I like everything about it outside of that. Mm-hmm. And to people listening who may not know me, I know it sounds stupid to hate like an entire, I guess, format. But I have a harder time getting into it when there's not like a gigantic story arc. Like my favorite shows are like The Wire, a cop show, but a cop show that has an entire story arc that goes through like the 5 seasons.
Yeah.
And stuff. So,
yeah, I'm trying to put a key in an eraser.
So anime has kind of that problem for me, but I like a good anime. Like I had to Google while you were talking because I couldn't remember the name. But probably the last one I watched was Serial Experiments Lane. And I got a bad memory, so I don't even remember exactly what it's about. I just remember really liking it and it being really strange. And then, because I went through a period where I was trying to watch more anime. That's where I started finally watching Darker Than Black and I can't remember what else. I have like I have a DVD set of an anime version of the classic film Seven Samurai. Like, well, it's not it's a show, but they do Seven Samurai in an anime format, so it's not just one movie, which I haven't watched. I only watched like an episode or two. I was at the store one day like a couple of years ago, and I was just like, Seven Samurai. I wonder if this has anything to do with the Kurosawa, I guess that's how you pronounce it, film. And then I looked and I was like, yeah, there it is. And I'm like, that sounds cool. I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah.
And I haven't really, because I thought that's a classic movie that so many movies have taken influence from. Like a lot of the cliches and stuff that we even see these days came from like movies like Seven Samurai and shit. So I thought I'd like to see this done in like an anime, see what it's like. Because it has kind of the storyline that could fit anime, like a bunch of samurais protecting a city.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's totally something you could do with anime that wouldn't be... That's right up their alley. But besides that, I don't really remember any anime that... I gotta watch some anime. I downloaded a bunch a while back, but I haven't watched any of it.
See, and it's like, I've talked to like my anime friends about it. I've only watched, like, now I've watched a good chunk, but I only, like, some of them I prefer the English dubs, like Yu-Gi-Oh! I could not stand watching the Japanese version, because that one's full of, like, more, like, sexual, well, actually, there was none in the show, but in the Japanese version there's, like, sexual stuff, and there's, like, more violence, and it's like, I grew up with a children's card game, and I told my friend, I'm like, I can't imagine a world where children to preteens are saving the world by playing a card game, or a card game of motorcycles, that they have sex with each other, they have guns, and they swear at each other. I'm like, no, it doesn't make sense. It's silly. There's a good chunk of animes I've seen, and I actually prefer the English dubs that take out the swearing, because sometimes I think they're kind of like, this goes back to Sonic for a second, Shadow the Hedgehog, where they just tried to stick swearing as much as they could to make the character seem like better. Where I don't like that, because I think it's just unnecessary.
Well, Japanese society has historically been different, and there's been a lot of things that have made it over to I'm going to say North America, that have been censored. Like, even just things like video games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not as bad these days, although it still happens. But, like, there's a lot of games that I've played that aren't actually the same as they were in Japan. And animes were the same. Like, I remember Sailor Moon.
It was probably extremely, like, changed.
Yeah, I remember reading, like, a website years back that kind of lists the changes, and they were pretty massive. But I could totally see that, because that show is perfectly set up for more mature things and hentai. Because let's be honest, everyone wants to bang those Sailor Moon chicks. I mean, they bring it on themselves, really, when you think about it. But yeah.
Yeah, all anime girls do.
Yeah, they really do. They're so sexy.
They are.
Yeah. Yeah. You got anything else?
Who is your waifu?
I don't. Was this a topic?
No, it was actually.
You said it with a smile. I'm just trying to figure out.
I bet it's Tifa or Aerith. I don't know which one's which, so don't.
Tifa's the one with the big boobies.
Is she the one that wears black all the time?
No, she wears white. A white shirt?
She's the one that died? No, wait, no, she's
Ares
the one that
died.
So her name isn't Aerith. Other names like
Well, I think I could be wrong here. I think the Japanese might have been Aerith.
Because that sounds better.
But I'm not sure. Or maybe that was just... I remember reading a magazine way back in the day. And... like, this was before FF7 came out.
Mm-hmm.
So this is back, before the internet was super popular and whatnot.
There was a time.
There was a time.
Was popular?
There was a time before that.
What did you do for Facebook?
Well, we had to actually go out and socialize. It was really weird, or call each other on the phone and talk.
Calling, is that some type of feature?
I don't even know what that is. I forgot. But I remember reading a magazine where they were previewing FF7 and Star Ocean, like the original one. They were talking about it, which I still have to this day never played, but it always sounded really cool, especially back then, because it was like a sci-fi RPG. But it never really got translated here. I mean, I played like Star Ocean: The Second Story, and that's one of my favorite RPGs of all time. But yeah. Anyway, so they were talking about FF7. I remember that she was listed as Aerith, and like that could be the Japanese, like, directly translated name. I don't know. Maybe for localization it got changed to Ares, or not. Whatever. And I remember Baird in that magazine was called Bullet. So when I got the game, I'd actually always call him Bullet, just because that's like my first encounter with Barrett was in the magazine. His name was Bullet, so I always used to call him Bullet. Or it could have been an error on the magazine's part. You know, now that I think about it, I can't remember what magazine that was. It was probably EGM, because I subscribed to EGM. Yeah, we used to get magazines in the mail every month.
I used to love getting Nintendo Power.
I loved it because it gave me something to look forward to. Like, yes, I know these days it's nice because you can jump on a game site or whatever kind of site you want and get news instantly.
And give you poster.
And it's better. Well, they give you wallpaper for your desktop.
Dang.
But
I can get that for free anywhere else.
Even though I'm never going to say we should go back to those days, there is a certain magic to it. Of like, oh sweet, my EGM is coming like in the next couple days and I'm going to be able to read all this news and stuff. And back then, EGM was huge. Like, there wasn't so many ads. Now magazines are like mostly ads because, let's be honest, magazines have a really hard time competing with the internet.
Yeah.
And it sucks, because it's a format that I'm a big fan of. Just because, I don't know, there's just something about them. But, no, my waifu is not Tifa or Aerith.
Dang.
It's... I never thought about this because I'm almost 29 years old. But, who's yours and why?
I actually had to think about that, so that's why I asked you, because I had to think about it.
I don't know. Like, I'd have to pick the... Oh, this is so nerdy. Why would you do this to the podcast? Like, on this podcast, we tried to maintain a level of nerdiness, but coolness at the same time. It was like, you can be a nerd, but don't go that far. But we have just gone that far into dark.
At least they haven't wrote a fanfic about it.
Well, next we will be.
I'm working on it.
We're going way into the abyss now. There's no holding back. So I might as well just tell my deepest, darkest secrets right now. Back in the day, I used to have a crush on Lufia from the game Lufia. Yeah, she had blue hair. But anyway, no, my waifu... What's the chick's name from Lollipop Chainsaw?
Juliet.
Yeah, that's like, honestly, a top 25 game for me, which is controversial, if anyone cared what I thought, because people don't seem to enjoy that game that much. It sold, I don't know if it was a couple million copies recently, which isn't great by normal video game standards, but it's good by that standard, so congrats to Lollipop Chainsaw.
Technically, waifu, for some reason, people include guy characters, so if you were all over Cloud, you could have said Cloud.
Yeah, but I'm straight. Maybe.
Go, Hobie.
I don't want to reveal it just now. I already revealed that I had a crush on Lufia when I was a kid. But yeah, Juliet, because she's smoking hot. And she's ditzy, but you know what? She's ditzy and whatnot, but she wields a chainsaw, kills zombies, and is actually so faithful to her man that she wears his head on her belt and has no desire to cheat. Like, she may have been a hoe, but when she's with somebody, she's committed. And there's my waifu.
My waifu.
What you? We got to try to keep talking because we don't want no dead space, because then weird.
I feel like I'll have to come back to it because I actually need to think. There's all kinds. I could name Yuna.
Yeah, Yuna. Yeah, but she's got that cute chick thing going on.
Halo 4 Katana.
Smoking hot.
Or Cortana, not
10
Katana.
10 out of 10 would bang.
Yeah.
So that's getting in some weird AI.
I would say a Pokemon character, but when I found out they were all age 12, I felt a little bit weird.
Well, you just revealed that on the podcast.
Yo,
yeah, you don't know. Well, we can come back to it. We can talk about other stuff, and if you decide in the middle of it, then just jump right in with This just in, my waifu
Joanna
is...
Dark now. No. Maybe from Zero.
Yeah, she was kind of smoking hot in that, too. God damn, there's a lot of smoking hot video games.
Did you know in Japan she had an Asian model?
Really?
Her hair is more of a, like an anime character style hair.
Oh.
Yeah. I learned that one today.
Really, just today?
Yeah.
Damn, this is up to the minute Jacob live feed going on here. I might as well talk about what I'm doing until you decide who your waifu is. What have I been doing?
Waifu. Sounds silly when people
It's
say
so
that.
stupid.
It looks okay online, but when you say it in person, it just sounds
I know.
silly.
I get that. And the only reason I even answered it is because when people ask me a question like that, I gotta answer. It's like if you were to sit here and go, "What is your top 5 whatever?" That's like a challenge to me.
Yeah.
So I have to do it. Like I have to sit down and answer that challenge. So, and that's my weakness. But what have I been doing? Oh, I'll tell you what I've been doing. One, I've been playing Titanfall, which I reviewed. Oh, I didn't even say where I'm from. In case you're listening to this, on thegamely.blogspot.com, your source for some video game stuff. I was going to say news, but I don't exactly break news except for like
video game news.
Every Saturday I do a roundup of news that's already on more popular websites. But I do
What are you talking about? You have the best website.
I do mostly reviews, but I've been throwing in top 10 Tuesday things in this podcast.
You share pictures of your waifu on there.
I'm going to start showing pictures of my waifu.
Are you going to edit you like hugging her? Please do.
Maybe I will. Maybe I'll make that the picture for it. On the gameplay, and it'll be called On the Juliet.
Yeah, because you're on the Juliet.
Oh, I don't know why we're owing that. But anyway, I've been playing Titanfall. I reviewed it. Check out that review. Giant robots. I won't really talk too much about it. I think it's a great game. I don't think it lived up to the hype, which, you know, it's still a great game, and I feel like some people will be more forgiving of the things that I criticized in my review than I am. But like, it's fun. Like, you know, just read the review.
Do you want me to give a short? 8.5 out of 10. Big robots, wall running.
He goes an 8.5 out of 10.
I thought that's what yours was.
No, I think I gave it an 8.
8 out of 10. Big robots, big guns, big everything. Big people.
What? They're not really... they're just kind of normal size
robots.
People. But they're exceptionally fast.
Wall running. Wall jumping.
I don't think we really...
Jumping, double jumping. You be Mario up in there.
I don't think we really have to advertise Titanfall, considering it's like the most hyped game.
EA.
Over the... EA. No, don't say EA, because then nobody will get it. People try to forget that EA published it. So far, I haven't run into any real errors on like matchmaking or the internet. I ran into one earlier today where it had some issues, but nothing major. What have I been doing besides Titanfall? Well, it's important to note that I survived sickness to bring you a Titanfall review. Ladies and gents, I puked for the first time in like a decade the other night. I stayed up all night puking, and it was not in the least bit enjoyable. The last time I puked was when I ate McDonald's one time. And normally, you know, after like you puke after you've eaten something, like I didn't puke right away, but I felt sick later on. Usually, like, you find you get sick off something and you puke. Like, I find I don't want to go back to it, at least right away. Like, there was things when I was little, like, for some reason I puked off of rice and barbecue chicken, which was dumb because I love both those things. And, like, the old, you know, like, Crunch bars?
Mm-hmm.
You ever had one? Well, once I went to a birthday party of my best friend at the time, and they gave us, like, a bag. Because people used to do that. Used to give you like a treat bag if you go to the person's birthday party. It was sweet. So you'd get stuff too.
Yeah.
So they gave me like this Crunch popcorn. And for some reason I got sick off. Well, I don't know if it was because of that, but my body thinks it was.
Yeah, they tried to poison you.
So I never ate Crunch. And even to this day, I can eat Crunch bars, but I'm really not a fan anymore. barbecue chicken and rice, I've come back around. But the McDonald's, I didn't stop eating that for a day. Because here's what I've decided about McDonald's. You kind of go into McDonald's expecting to feel gross.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you throw up because of McDonald's, it's just like, meh, I expected it. So you just go back
So you
to
don't
it.
throw up in their place and it'll just be weird.
Well, yeah, you try not to throw up in their place. But, yeah, so I feel mostly better now. My stomach feels a little queasy sometimes. But I survived. I played Titanfall. I reviewed Titanfall. There's a big UFC this weekend I'm going to watch because I have no life, so I get excited about stuff I can do at home.
That big UFC.
You're not really in MMA, so we won't talk about UFC. And most importantly, this isn't what I'm doing now, but what I'm doing next Tuesday, Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zero.
Metal Gear.
Metal Gear.
Metal Gear.
I'm gonna call it right now, probably end up giving it a 10 out of 10 in my review.
10-10, Metal Gear.
I won't even pretend to, like, have objectivity when it comes to Metal Gear. The closest I get to objectivity in Metal Gear is that I don't think the gameplay in Metal Gear Solid 1 has aged that well. I mean, it's still a lot of fun, and the game's got probably the best single story, but because of the advancements of technology and being able to actually, go first person and whatnot. Although with that said, Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes actually introduced the first person mode, and it actually made the game a little too easy. So I guess when you think of it that way, the gameplay, I don't know, whatever. But that's as close as I get, but I would still rate Metal Gear Solid 1 a 10. So
10-10, Snake kills people.
10 out of 10 for the whole series. So, yeah. So expect a review for that.
I will.
You won't even read it.
Nah.
Besides that, though,
Metal Gear.
Metal Gear. Ain't really been doing anything besides banging my waifu.
Yeah, me too.
Dave, you been banging my waifu?
Nah. Everyone else's.
So I got a question.
And wait, before I go on, you have to understand on the internet there's also waifu stealers. They're people that are interested in your waifu. No, it's really just like the characters actually in the show that are interested in, I think. Yeah. This is where I think the anime fandom took the best turn. When they introduced a waifu, you can either say waifu to people, or you could just outright say, she's my internet wife.
Well, you know what's funny? Because the anime community, I mean, I'm going to stereotype. There's probably a lot of children anyway, but it's funny. I mean, I know people who are older that like anime, so I'm not criticizing anime. But it kind of reminds me of, like, back in the day when I was younger, and you'd be like, oh, I'm totally that character from that game, and your whole identity would be based on, like, what character you thought was cool.
Yeah, I used to be Sonic.
So you'd identify yourself as, I'm Cloud.
Did you identify yourself as Snake?
Well, no, but I named one of my, like, first online aliases as Solid Cobra. So, like, I wasn't technically identifying myself as Snake, but I definitely had that, Snake. I mean, don't get me wrong, my identity was sort of based on Metal Gear, because my first email was, like, I think it was Metal Gear 50 at Hotmail. It was Metal Gear something. I don't know why I remember that. Like, the number. I think the number was 50. But, I definitely had my, my thing with Metal Gear. But I don't think, as far as I know, I was ever like, oh, I'm Snake. I'm trying to think of what characters I would pretend to be. But, that's what the anime thing kind of reminds me of. This is a really personal podcast, this episode. I think it's because I read one of my old live journals and was reading this personal stuff I wrote, which is something I don't do anymore. Like, I don't like to reveal my personal life. But now I'm in that mood, so here's how big my penis is. No, I'm just...
Dang.
Dang, it's huge. No, it ain't. So yeah, what's up? I can't speak that English no more.
Yeah, because I've been introducing you to Japanese language.
Yeah, it's different. You know, it's funny though. It's like one of the forums. I won't get into like a big detail, but there's one of the forums I posted at years ago. Like probably my favorite of all time was actually an anime-based forum. Anime and like graphics and stuff, like graphic design and whatnot. But I never posted in the anime section, so I was never involved in like the biggest conversations. I just posted in every other section. And you would think I would have got super into anime then. But it's really just a casual interest. If I were to do like a top 50 TV shows, there'd probably be a few animes on there though. Like I did really like Serial Experiments Lane. And there's a couple anime movies I really like Grave of the Fireflies and like Akira. The manga was awesome. Or manga. And you know, like whatever.
I'm more of an American cartoon fan. I just find them more interesting.
What kind of cartoons are we talking?
Like anything that was on my like top whatever list.
It has no credibility. There wasn't no Simpsons.
No, I already said they're on a list above them because they're the gods.
No, that doesn't make it okay that you didn't include the Simpsons on yo. I was gonna say podcast, but I was trying to look at the time on the video while I was talking to you.
Nah, I just find I don't know. Most things are better about them.
All right then.
Yeah, I've seen lots of people get annoyed with that. They're like, "But the animation's so crap." I'm like, "No, I prefer the animation because there's some really weird animations for like American ones. Usually they turn out to be Canadian ones that have extremely weird like animations."
Well, it really depends on your flavor. You know.
Plus, you know. Yeah.
Do you remember what your topic was you wanted to discuss?
We can talk about the Pope.
Why do we want to talk about the Pope?
I'm pretty sure I was listening to something that said that I think it hasn't he been in there for like the new one been in here for like has he like a year now?
Yeah, it must have been about a year now.
Yeah, I was seeing like a news thing that like they're just talking about like his like a year in review of him there.
Yeah, well,
like what he's done. He's a good Pope.
Yeah, but I don't overly like the idea of a Pope in general. But again, it's not something I think or care enough about to rant about.
Yeah, but he seems like he's good. That was my topic.
Oh, you spit on it, son.
I know they're all to say he's pretty good.
That's it.
He washed some people's feet. He talked about homosexual rights. He I guess he got rid of that like gold-plated chair and stuff, and like took him like I don't know if it was like a wooden or what, but just a casual like kind of chair, and like took away most of those like really expensive things to more casual things because he's like, I don't really need that. He seems kind of cool in that way.
That's fair.
And he seems to want to be more casual. Like they've seen him walking around in like a black shirt.
Well, they should. It's time to relate to the everyman, especially if you're religious.
Yeah, and he seemed to respect people. He's like I think his famous quote is like, he's not the one who's supposed to judge anyone. I'm like, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I don't really know much about this Pope, so
He's from South America.
I got really nothing to add to it.
Yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Let's talk about something important then.
Say ya.
Seth Rogen, right before we went on air, I read an article about celebrities that Seth Rogen has gotten high with. James Franco wasn't on the list.
And Willie Nelson, he hasn't.
No, what? But I mean, James Franco, he was in Pineapple Express with, and they played two stoners. And James Franco has done kind of stoner shit, but apparently he doesn't smoke weed. But yeah, that's pretty much more important than the Pope, isn't it?
James Franco don't need weed. He is weed.
Didn't know he's alien. He's from another world.
Yeah.
We were
He's
watching.
hanging with them dope boys.
We were watching scenes from Spring Breakers today. To everybody listening,
All two of them.
the legendary every time scene, which is one of my favorite movie scenes of all time. And we watched. What other scene did we watch? Or was that it?
The scene where he's in his room.
Oh yeah, we watched the epic monologue of how much shit he has. Look at my shit. Yeah. Then we watched a Harmony Korine commercial. The skateboards.
Yeah, it was kind
Where
of
it was
weird.
on fire.
Yeah.
Sometimes you should, sometimes you should sit here and watch like Gummo with me, cause you haven't, and I mean this, you haven't seen him be really weird. Like in Spring Breakers, it was kind of strange, I guess, but it wasn't like my buddy Joe said, like, cause he's watched like Gummo with me, and I'm not sure if he watched anything else, and he, like most people that spend any real time talking to me, has heard me talk about Korine on multiple occasions. And after Spring Breakers, I'm like, so what'd you think? And he's like, it's not as weird as I expected it to be. And that's true. But, like, if you want to see weird, sit down and watch, like, Gummo with me. I say Gummo because I think it's probably his weirdest. Although Julian Donkey Boy is weird in its own way. Plus, that's an awesome title. Julian Donkey Boy. I mean, all of his movies are weird, but I think Gummo is probably still my favorite movie of all time. I think sometime you should sit and watch with me. And say you will, so I got proof.
Word.
That's not saying you will.
I say that to people all the time. I will, word.
Oh, see, so that's on...
Record. That's on the podcast? The only podcast you're on the podcast?
The only podcast where you're on the podcast?
Yeah.
That's not even true. But anyway,
How
there's
does-
lots of podcasts where people are on the podcast.
But
That's
they're
what guests
not
are.
they're not on the podcast.
They're not on the podcast.
Yeah.
We need to get a guest. I was thinking about that today. We're like 6 episodes in and we haven't
We
had
should
a
just
guest
do
yet.
funny voices and pretend to be different people.
Oh, that's something you should have told me off air, because then we totally could have done that.
You
And
know,
people wouldn't have...
as of this
people wouldn't
moment,
have
you could just
noticed.
edit this little bit out, and we'd never be talking.
I don't edit. I think that's become probably clear to people.
You should stick an annotation right before I said that, and be like, "Please skip this part."
I don't edit things. Like, I'm not professional in that regard. Like, I like the... And Justin's gonna like this. I love the organic conversation and tone to things. Like, I don't enjoy going over and editing out dead space, which Justin does. And I'm
Why
not,
would you edit out Dead Space? That's a pretty good game.
I already made a Dead Space joke earlier.
No, they're very
But you
sure-
didn't hear me because I think you were talking. I said we don't want Dead Space, and I was like, because an alien show up or something like that.
I'm pretty sure me and you have said that joke multiple times in this podcast.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm all about milking them jokes. I do it on a weekly basis on the roundup. I
on the
milk
podcast.
the same jokes constantly.
On the podcast, the only podcast we're on the podcast, we like to milk jokes and references.
I also like to milk cows.
Yeah.
I put my own work in.
Yeah, we make our own milk here. We've started up a production company. It's called On the Podcast Milk Production. the only podcaster you're
The only milk that's on the...
the only podcast where you can milk a cow.
we should do, like, eventually we should actually go on, like, Google. Oh, hold on, people.
Commercial break. On the podcast, you can drink milk that we make from our cows.
Drink milk! On the podcast, you can drink milk
From cows.
from cows. Hey everybody, and welcome back. Sorry about the interruption.
That was the paid sponsor.
had to throw in a commercial break there. But yeah, we're back. I don't even remember what I was talking about. because
Something about milk.
oh yeah, were we still talking about milk?
I don't know.
So what's going on?
No.
No, I don't know what else.
What you been playing?
I already told you what I've been playing. I've been so I've been so caught up in like the big games that are released because like we didn't have any games like new games, but now we got like a big game every week.
Mm-hmm.
So like I haven't been able to invest time into like the indie games and shit, and I feel bad about that because I like to show love to them or hate, but mostly love to the indie devs because you know they need support, and even though my blog gets like very few views, it's still nice to get the word out to someone, or plus they're the people who actually reply to you on Twitter.
Yeah.
But
I was holding the door.
why are you holding the door?
I don't know. I feel comfortable like this.
That's weird. I feel like you just confessed something deep about yourself. I like holding doorknobs because I am a knob.
I play with my knob.
You know, I've never seen you play with your knob. I don't think you do.
I am right now.
I don't think you do it. Stop playing with my knob.
Dang.
Well, unless you got something.
Oh, I have to state who my waifu is. We've been waiting. The millions and millions of fans across the world
we have gone through lots of boring conversation and a crappy commercial to get to this point.
What do you mean crappy? We paid for that.
Yeah, we paid for our own voices.
People have waited all podcasts, actually like 20 minutes, but
No, they probably had 20, 30 minutes.
And finally, I will tell you.
This is epic.
Come down to Yuna,
Yeah.
a person named Katara,
Who's Katara?
someone from Avatar,
Okay.
Cortana from Halo 4,
Yes.
and Princess Nia.
Nia.
I would put Princess Peach in the cat suit just because that's adorable, but then I've already told people that and they've taken it as a sexual way.
Yeah, because then you got the weird like bestiality thing going on.
So I'll just take that one. I'll remove that as I won't put Yoko in there. She was like the
Yoko Ono?
No, yeah.
Yeah. You know, she's made one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Have you heard her songs?
Yeah. But, she made a short film of just an eye blinking. she's like the worst kind of artist. Like the person who will do something stupid like that and be like, no, you just don't understand.
Wasn't she the one that put like the sign on top of like a stepladder?
Probably.
Yeah, and she's like, and then that's how John Lennon fell in love with her because he's an idiot.
Oh, John Lennon sucks.
Let's take shots at all the Beatles. Talentless. There's a million of them. Alright, so I better get back to...
Yeah, we're waiting for the waifu.
And the final waifu to be selected for my...
you got like 5?
Yeah,
You're like married to 5 different women?
I have them on my arms at all times.
Damn.
Cortana's right next to me on my left.
And then who's
Yoko Ono's right here.
Who's sitting in the back seat? Can't make your mind up. Which seat should you take?
Yeah. It's Friday. They're waifus.
We don't need more singing. I think we've done enough.
I'll probably go with Princess Nia. She's actually from Girl Gone.
Yeah, I had no idea. I just didn't want to... I already didn't know who that person from Avatar was, so I didn't want to seem any more like a loser than I did.
It sounds like a sword, Katara. She's like second though.
So that's who you went with.
Yeah.
Why?
She was attractive. Plus, she was like that. Since she was like, she didn't like no. I don't know. She was like locked away, so she never saw humans, and I found it kind of interesting how like quirky she was. Like, what's a human? And they're all like us, and she's like, whoa. I'm like, dang, that's how I feel like when I see other people. Because I don't see people. When I see people with friends, I'm like, friends?
Speaking of milk and jokes, we've gone back to the friend joke.
All 9 seasons.
Nice.
You
know, I used to really like Friends.
I did too.
Then I killed them all. But
left me.
Yeah, that was a good show though.
It was.
I mean, it kind of gets disrespect nowadays because people want to try to be cool and be like, "Yeah, Friends was stupid." It's like, nah, Friends was actually a really good sitcom. It wasn't even that it was like hilarious, because it really wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
They had interesting
chemistry.
Like it was just a good show.
Great show.
Great show. Greatest of all time.
10 out of 10. Would watch again.
Well, I've seen Friends enough. You know, it's still one of those shows that if I was like channel surfing, which I don't do because I don't actually have cable, but if Friends comes on, like I'll sit down and watch an episode of Friends. It's like The Simpsons. I can sit down and watch an episode of The Simpsons regardless of...
I actually just did like last night. I was just sitting up. I'm like, The Simpsons. The Simpsons.
Stop. We don't want to get sued.
Was that more than
because that was clearly the real song that we were sampling there.
Yeah. If you didn't know, I did the music for that.
I know you did.
Yeah.
You did the whole show.
Yeah. I'm the writer. I'm the director. I'm the editor. I'm the actor. I'm the voice actor.
Animators.
Yeah. Nah, that was actually me as every character. Damn. That's what I look like in real life.
Every character?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be weird. Imagine if somebody took elements from every major character of The Simpsons and put it onto one person. What that would look like. I think somebody
They'd be
on
really
the internet
tall and fat.
Somebody on the internet should do that. Not for... Yeah, because the internet does some pretty pointless
What
stuff.
about like the aliens?
Yeah, do it. Any major character. We'll make it easy. Any major character, even though a lot of characters are fairly major in The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Because they show up like... You know, obviously the majors are like the Simpsons and whatnot, but I mean, I'm classifying major as like any reoccurring character that was more than...
Yeah, I guess that really is every character.
More than like 1 or 2 episodes, but that is a lot of characters. We talked about Simpsons a lot.
Did we?
We did, just this episode.
Yeah.
This episode is sponsored by The Simpsons.
Should we do a jingle?
No.
Aw.
We should never do a jingle ever again.
Aw.
Oh, I'm sorry for breaking that little
What if
part.
people watch this and actually think we sell milk?
Yeah, probably, because clearly everything we say is truthful. Breaking news, Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Oh!
It's you know, I like to pride myself in the fact that I've made very few Half-Life 3 confirmed jokes.
I hate
Because it's
the
actually
joke.
one of my least favorite, like, memes.
I hate it because I have a friend that's so slow on memes that just now he thinks he's the funniest person because he can say it. And it's not even, like, clever. It's like, hey, look, it's a 3, Half-Life 3 confirmed. I'm like, no.
I made one joke, I think, on the weekly news roundup, I believe. And then I made this one just now. But I hate that meme. I think it's stupid. Well, there's 3 this and 3 that, which means Half-Life 3 confirmed.
The other one I like is, like, there's a picture of, like, Gabe in the back of a car. It's like, I'm going to E what? E, and it's like E3, and he won't say 3. But usually they're pretty bad.
Can you imagine having that kind of power? Like, you have a game that people would probably murder their parents for, and yet you're like, nah.
I think he just likes it at this point.
Yeah, he's probably just like, screw you, internet.
Is there like, since I didn't really finish Half-Life 2 episodes, is it actually leading up to a sequel, or is it just,
I don't know. I never...
Like, is story-wise, do they need one, or just something like people are like, oh, we really want one to play, or...
I'm not sure. I'm not like a Half-Life fanatic.
All I really want to see is a new Left 4 Dead. I don't really care about the other series.
I don't...
Maybe a Portal 3 just because it's fun, but...
I mean, like, I believe Half-Life deserves the respect it gets. I don't believe Left 4 Dead does, because I don't really see the big deal.
Damn, it was so fun.
But, you know, whatevs. I'm not like a massive Valve fan. Like, it's not that I have any dislike. It's just I haven't played a lot of Team Fortress.
I don't really
have much of an opinion.
Fun. Except Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
And wait, do they make Portal? Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of find Portal fun.
Yeah, I need to go through and actually play Portal. Like, that's kind of a gaming confession right there. I've never played Portal. But I downloaded Portal 2. I mean, I bought it.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't legally download here.
But no, maybe someday I'll play Portal.
Someday.
Just gotta be a Portal if there's something. I think Beavis and Butthead should come back.
Yeah.
That's disgusting that it only got renewed.
Because they needed space for their other MTV shows like 16 and Pregnant.
The kinds of shows that Beavis and Butthead was making fun of.
Yeah, but I think Beavis and Butthead, if it comes back, they need to attack like everything front. Like they need to just start attacking games. They need to attack like movies. They need to attack.
Yeah, but their thing was that they would turn on MTV and watch music videos. So it really only makes sense for them to.
But they need to get I need to get a new TV and just be like, well, now we're going to attack on all fronts.
They should.
They're going to open fire on every front.
They should get, since they're idiots, they should get like a video game console, but have it be like a really old one, like Nintendo.
Yeah, we're up to date.
Just so they think that it's like this new thing, so they just make fun of Nintendo.
Do you want a fun fact about Nintendo 64?
Sure.
In Japan only there's a disc drive for it.
Really?
And not only was there a disc drive, there was a game cartridge that was a mini. The game cartridge was a mini modem. And Japan for a year ran a service that you could go on. You could watch people play. You could like talk to people and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, but limited games ran on either the disc drive or that, because this is like you had told me this is the time when they thought like in the video I watched, actually Nintendo was like, yeah, we think cartridges have more power than CDs.
Yeah, they kind of dropped the ball on that.
And
even though I like cartridges, because I did enjoy. I mean, it's different now, because now things save on your hard drives and whatnot. But I mean, back in like the PS1 and PS2 days, I liked cartridges in a way because you could save right on it. But obviously, it didn't have the power and stuff of a CD. But it had its advantages.
I like how many of the games were like going to flop. Like GoldenEye was just a little like about to be just canceled because at one point it was cut off from funding for 3 months. And
then it became arguably the most influential console shooter of all time.
I enjoy because I was watching like a Did You Know type thing about a bunch of games. And it's kind of interesting to hear about all the games that like were originally not even like were programmed on some like thing, and this was when Nintendo were just guessing the specs of the N64, and they just told them like these estimates of what the games would run on. So a bunch of these games actually looked crappier from the demo that they showed at like whatever convention was out for Nintendo then, and it turned out looking kind of horrible compared to the originals because at first they were running off like I forget some like programming thing. And it just all turned out to look pretty bad.
Damn, Nintendo sucks?
Yeah, that's what we're trying to say. There's all kinds of crazy Nintendo things.
Was this like a YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've seen some of these, but I'm interested in that kind of stuff. So I'm going to have to get a link or something from you, because that's a good way to kill a bunch of time. Just watch random facts. Like, I like to sit and watch, like, I was watching, like, top 50, I don't know, scariest video game moments or something.
I think I sent you one that was like top 20 scariest like game bugs or glitches, and one was like in Skyrim where like a bunch of mannequins will follow you.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of creepy going in because like their heads will follow you, and like eventually you'll hear like rummaging and they'll be walking behind you. And then there's Creepy Watson.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
And then there's like a Slender type game based on Creepy Watson. It's so scary just walking around. You just in every corner you look.
Damn it, Watson! Stay out of my shit.
Do you actually? You know, I don't. One of those videos actually explained like all of the Nintendo characters and such that have went through like so many voice actors.
You might want to watch it. That's what I'm gonna do after this.
Princess Peach being one of them. What her newest? Do you know who her newest voice actor is?
Who?
Cortana.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm like, dang.
It's not like she has to do a whole lot of voice acting.
I know, because it showed all the Donkey Kong voice actors. I'm like, all those dudes getting paid so much to do just grunts.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like, I mean, it's part of the charm now, but so many Nintendo games just don't have like voice acting. Like in the tradition, it's just like a lot of grunting and occasional like sentences.
See Mario doesn't have it, but like Sonic has it. It's kind of awkward that like I don't like voice actors changing because it like, especially if it's the same like kind of like story arc from each game to each game in Sonic, and just the voice actors awkwardly change and don't sound alike. Like Sonic mostly sounds the same, but the other characters sometimes sound extremely off, and it kind of just seems the consistency kind of feels weird.
Well, I'm about to run into a game changer next week when Metal Gear drops because David Hayter didn't do the voice, and like that he's become known for Snake.
Why didn't he?
So I'm not sure why I can't remember what Kojima said. I don't know if he just wanted to go for something a little different. Or if maybe he never even explained why, but they went for Kiefer Sutherland. I think it's Kiefer. Yeah, he's the one in like 24 and stuff, right?
I think, yeah.
I always screw up the Sutherland boys. But I think it's him, and he's going to do it. So I'm going to go through that, I'm going to hear, even though it's not Solid Snake, but then again, David Hayter voiced Naked Snake and all them anyway. But it's gonna be weird to hear not.
I hope they at least try to do an impression of the voice.
I don't know how I feel about it. I'm a Metal Gear I'm a Metal Gear guy, like a Paul Heyman guy.
Yeah.
But I don't think I care that much. I just want him to do a good job. It'll be a little strange, but as long as he does a good job, then I'm okay with it. Like, I'm really not that hard to get along with.
Yeah.
But, so I'm about to run into that next week in a few days.
I get those dem feels.
You get dem feels?
Yeah. Dem voice actor changing feels.
Yeah. Well, got anything you want to say to end this podcast? I figure it's probably time. This is yet another podcast episode. This is, I think, the third in a row where there hasn't really been a whole lot of topics.
The Pope
going in. Yeah, you had the Pope, which went so well. And you know what? No, I guess. I mean, we always have the what you're playing and what you're doing, and that's.
I guess we talked a little bit of anime and waifus.
And embarrassing whatevers. But
Waifu
the only topic I
Steelers.
really had was the Seth Rogen thing, and I knew that wouldn't really. Just something
I
I
smoked
read.
pot with them.
So did I. I smoked pot with Seth Rogen.
I do it every day. I am right now.
I keep thinking I'm going to say Joe Rogan.
I'm calling you from a phone. I'm in his apartment.
Yeah, we're actually doing this via Skype.
Yeah.
But no, people don't believe that because it hasn't once gone down. So it can't possibly be Skype. We just had an over an hour conversation and it hasn't gone down. No, that's not possible.
That's true. We were using Google Hangouts.
Yeah. Sometime we'll do it live. We'll do a Google Hangouts. Hangout style, and we'll be naked.
Yeah. With clogs on. In commemoration of my channel that isn't out
That'll
yet.
be the reveal.
I do we never talked about men in clogs.
Well, the problem is we never did the real introductions that we usually do. Like,
True.
we're usually like, hey, I'm Tyler on the game lane. You're like, I'm Jacob at Men in Clogs. And then you always say the same joke, but how it's not up yet. And then we have a chuckle. Then we hit the theme music. Or maybe we do it after the theme music.
No, I think we do it before.
Yeah, because I think the beginning of this one was only like 30 seconds long.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
What's up with your your
your
TV show themes and whatnot tonight?
I don't know.
I like Ninja Turtles.
Tonight's the night.
Ninja Turtles was my jam growing up.
I like how we're supposed to end it, but we just kept going.
Yeah, I have a hard time saying bye. You don't.
See ya. I'm out.
He just left the building, but now he's back because
I didn't really get up.
he didn't really get up.
I'm too lazy yet.
Well, we'll end it. It's been another fun week on the podcast.
The only podcast where you're on the podcast.
I do hear about us milking cows.
Yeah.
I milked a cow once.
Podcast.
Did you ever milk a cow?
No.
I milked a cow once when I was in elementary school.
Ugh.
Or maybe that was just me touching the teacher's penis. No, they took us. I don't know where they took us. To the alley. We went to
his car.
Nah, come on, be classy. At least go to the bathroom.
To his limo.
Yeah, there you go. Right to his limo.
With his ladies around his arms, and you have ladies around your arms. Except you're like 7, so you're like only up to like their legs.
We're sorry to anybody who has been molested as a child because we just went to a dark place. We just went to a place that GSP would be scared of. You don't get that MMA joke. Once he said that he goes to the dark place in his head.
Yeah. He goes where he hears the voices in his head. Oh. Nah, see, we're going to that place where not even Bane can go. Not even where darkness is his ally. It's his enemy there.
I kind of want to watch Batman. But anyway.
You think GSP is your ally? I was born in him. Raised by. I was molded by him.
GSP?
Yeah.
That's a pretty boring way to be molded. Super nice and gentle.
I look down people's pants.
I look down people's pants all the time. See ya!
See ya!
Previously on the podcast with Jacob and Tyler. They were just sitting around talking about stuff. They were getting to know each other. And that's it. No, we weren't even getting to know each other. Hi.
Hey.
I'm Tyler.
I'm also Tyler.
And we're both Tyler. And you're listening to On the Podcast, episode 6.
Yeah, the podcast, we're on the podcast.
And welcome back, and before I forget, I gotta get these shoutouts out of the way, because sometimes we forget until a little bit later, and then it's just awkward and weird. So, that theme song, that bitchin' tune, was made by none other than my friend Gabe Vinyls. You can visit his Facebook page at facebook.com/thedungeonstudio, or go see his SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/Gabriel-Vinyls. That's VINYLZ. Or follow him on Twitter, which is probably what you should do because Twitter rules the world, at Dungeon Studio NY. NY for New York, because he's a downtown New York boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's sad. I don't know him. I don't know if I've actually messaged him on Facebook.
Is he on your Facebook?
Yeah, I have him added. I was checking out his crap.
My friends just add you. Did he add you?
I think so.
Like Zach add you that one time. My friends just add you.
I check out your friends' lives. I know as much about your friends' lives as you do.
Yeah, clearly.
I sit and stalk them.
I guess we should probably point out that at the beginning of this video, no, there's not 2 Tylers.
I also coughed. I didn't mean to do that. I was holding that one in. That was really hard. Then when you, I assumed you wanted me to talk, so I'm like, oh, I might as well let the cough out now.
That's cool.
So then I had a coughing fit during the theme. That was hard to say.
So yeah, you're listening to On the Podcast, episode 6. The weekly crappiest podcast on the internet that gets a whopping 10 views at its best, but usually about 4.
I got all excited and went to scream, the only podcast you're on the podcast, now roll the theme!
Well, maybe next time. Although you shouldn't have ruined it. Now everyone's gonna know what's coming and we're gonna be predictable. But that's cool. We'll be like the WWE. Oh, snap. So.
Well, we're more like TNA with like 10 people watching. Oh!
Man, we're coming down on WWE and wrestling in general. Like, hey, did you hear that WCW organization? They went under. Like, over 10 years ago.
Oh!
ECW? Oh! Same thing.
Oh! Didn't Shakara too?
Well, Shakara's like the coolest thing ever, because like their last pay-per-view they they during the final match, security actually came in and started ripping apart their set. Which I think would annoy purist wrestling fans who are like, we gotta see the ending. But wrestling is just as much about the storyline, especially these days.
Shikara is more storyline oriented.
Well, no, it has great wrestling. It's kind of fun for the family wrestling, but not in a bullshit way. It's entertaining, and there's characters with real gimmicks and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I actually really like Shikara.
Wasn't that the one to the colony?
Yeah, but I think the colony, the multiple colonies, I think like a lot of indies, they wrestle elsewhere. As far as I know, but I could be wrong there. Because I think I've seen them elsewhere. But I remember like one of the final shots of Sakara being like the owner sitting up there watching his set get destroyed while he eats an apple. But this is like, I mean, obviously it's fake. And I haven't really been keeping up, but I think they're doing something else to come back and do it. But he put a lot of time into it. I guess it became his thing for a while.
The thing is, it was like a charity event, but the Skyrim one, he used glitches to his advantage, because in Skyrim, since you have like a stamina thing, I don't know, it was like pre-update kind of thing where you could hold a torch and constantly be able to run. I don't really know how, I didn't watch the full thing, and I don't know how he beat a 200-hour game that quickly, but you must be able to just skip almost all the quests or something, because at the end he fought the dragon, and I think he may have glitched it to be able to fight the dragon or something.
Yeah, he must have done something. I just can't.
Now with Mario,
can't see
literally didn't stop for any coins. Literally, or I don't. I guess
you run and you know exactly where to jump.
Yeah, he knew exactly where like the key for, or the things for the door, like the potion door things were. Yeah. And he would go down. Then we get to like World 4 in like a minute or two. Then got to like World 6 in like another minute, and basically got through really quickly.
Yeah, you just memorize the jumping and whatnot, and that's how you do it.
And that was the same with the dude who beat. I watched a dude beat Super Mario Bros. 1 with only. He finished the game with 500 points. He literally, what he would do is he'd beat. Well, I think he also used Warp Zone, but for the levels he did, he wouldn't collect any coins. He wouldn't hit anything. He would jump over everything, and at the end, he'd wait till the timer was at 2 seconds and then finish, because it would only give him 100 points. And he finished at the bottom of the pool. So he's like record for lowest amount of points gotten.
Right on.
Yeah, and besides watching gameplay videos that I only did today, but I watched an anime.
Uh-oh. This must be the topic you wanted to talk about.
No, actually it wasn't.
Oh, good.
We can talk about them animes.
Alright, let's talk about them animes.
I can't. I try to remember.
Is that one with the funny name?
Yeah, Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
I don't even know what that is. Like, I'm not like a real well watched or whatever on animes. It
only ran for 27 episodes.
Yeah, but I feel like quite a few only ran for like 20-some episodes.
I think in Japan it got like a few awards for being one of the best animes.
Yeah.
It's a hard anime to explain because there's some weird language.
I don't know what their plans are, but that's like one of the cooler wrestling storylines. It kind of sucks to be a fan because you're like, no more Shikara for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But in one sense, it's like, that's a pretty cool story. Shikara just went under. But, I mean, you can only really get away with that in the indies. Like, imagine if WWE's like, yo, check this storyline out. WWE went under. And then, like, the channel and whatnot that they're on are like, what are you doing? And the people who bought the WWE network are like, so there's no pay-per-views now?
It'd be kind of cool for just like a month. They just shut everything down and just acted as if they did go under. Stopped updating everything.
It would be a little harder to believe,
like the
though,
Shield
considering they have a ton of money, but
it's like just have like the last scene of like the Shield and like the Y just taking out everyone in the back, like ripping everything up, like hitting Vince McMahon, throwing Stephanie McMahon over, picking up Triple H and throwing him through a window out into the street.
I'd be satisfied.
John Cena falling. Into Roman Reigns' arms.
That's a loving,
as explosions go around them.
A loving embrace. Yeah, so...
And then one of the explosions hits Randy Orton in the face. And he dies.
If you want Randy Orton to die,
Nah,
that's intense.
he'll
man.
come back.
Oh, he'll come back because wrestling isn't
No,
He's got
his
magical
ghost will come
powers.
back and he'll take over someone else's body.
Sheamus.
Yeah.
Maybe then Sheamus will actually be okay. Actually, no, that's not even true.
Sheamus the Viper.
Because Sheamus is alright. I just don't like his character. I think yelling "fella" is just stupid beyond belief.
That's not what all Irish people do.
Well, no, somebody on a forum just said, like, imagine an Australian wrestling going, mate! Because that's essentially what it is, right? When you think of it that way, it's really...
I guess it would also be like, as if like a Canadian would just scream like, hey!
Yeah. Buddy.
What would an American yell?
I don't know,
Fast
probably
food!
like, America!
Liberty!
Freedom!
War? Ooh.
Ooh, that's getting deep. That's the social commentary that cuts deep.
I think it hurt someone's feelings.
We hurt America's feelings as a whole. So what's up? What's new? Tell me speak on your life a little
What's new with me is... Oh. I don't really know what to do with me. Haven't really played any games. I don't really want to mention the one game I beat because it just falls into the... But I played games with a friend. I was going to play Earth Defense Force.
What's this friend thing you speak of?
So some kind
Is that something on Facebook?
It's a wild Pokemon.
Oh. But why hasn't it ever appeared for me? Dem feels.
Because it's a secret event. You gotta go to EB Games, sit there and wait over.
Do I gotta get like the pre-order code?
Nah, you just have to go to EB Games on like the event day and just order it from them, or they'll give it to you. I can't really see the actions on.
He just played a game on his imaginary controller, I guess. That's what he was doing. Or he was just diddling himself. I can't really...
Both.
Well, that's what I do when I'm playing games. What
Yeah.
game did you beat?
Halo 4.
Oh, man. Halo again?
It's like, he's like, we should beat a Halo. I'm like, well, I might as well beat the... Well, really, that's the last one to beat. But I'm like, well, might as well beat some random one. I'm like... Oh, this is the one story I don't think he knows. So we sat down for like, not 2 days fully, but I think we actually kind of sped run it because we didn't stop for any secrets. I think we actually beat it in like 3 or 4 hours, which is supposed to be like a 5-hour game. No, that is not on par with the dude who beat Skyrim in an hour and a half, but I like to think of myself as a pretty good speedrunner.
I don't speedrun. The best I did was like, maybe Super Metroid in 2.5 or something.
What does a freaking dude who beat Super Mario Bros. 2 in like 8 minutes? And there was a dude who beat...
Tyler, he used to... Not me. Or do I speak about myself
or
in
me,
third
because
person?
I'm also Tyler.
Oh, yeah, right. Tyler actually used to sit and play the first Super Mario Brothers at one point in his life. Over and over. And I can't remember what his record was. But I used to see him and... It was like... It was something... It was really good. Like,